Oh my goodness. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So happy to have you with us here tonight. Oh my goodness. It's Friday. I can't believe we made it to the end of the week. My name is Nicholas Viselli, and I am the artistic director of Theater Breaking Through Barriers. And yes, indeed, we are, surprise, surprise, coming to you as live can be, from deep inside the heart of the Thunderdome, right here on Theater Row in beautiful and glorious Midtown Manhattan. And I want to welcome all of you, each and every one of you, on behalf of our team, our artistic staff, our crew, to Theater Breaking Through Barriers' 5th Virtual Playmakers Intensive, or VPI 5. Time capsule. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what else to say about our team other than I'm so incredibly proud of the artists. A lot of times people feel that this work it's just so easy. Oh, sure, just throw up a little play. It's easy. This takes so much time and effort, and there are a lot of challenges that are sort of thrown at the artists. One of which is everyone is randomly paired together. One of which is we don't give the writers a whole lot of time to write their shows, and we also don't give the companies a whole lot of time to put everything together. So when you're able to see this work, and this is a workshop, by the way, I mean, obviously this is all work in progress. It's not meant to be like the final product, but to see the level that we are at with this work at this point is miraculous, to say the least. It really is. So I am just so incredibly proud and grateful to be working with this incredible list of artists. So for Friday night, we have a wonderful show, of course, but it's the beginning of the weekend. So now we have to give it that little extra boost, you know? Tonight's play was written by CATE ALLEN. And I have to tell you, I think Kate is amazing. She wrote a play for us for our last intensive, which just it blew me away. And this play is incredible. It is just such a great play. So I hope you will all enjoy it. The play is called Strength in Numbers. It was directed by Maria Mileaf, who I am a big fan of. I've had the pleasure of seeing her work many times. She's worked in so many incredible places, and to have her as part of to be working with us is just a gift. As our cast, which is of course all-star, we have Fred Backus, Alyssa H. Chase, Keith Murfee-Deconcini, and John Paul Niang. I'm not going to say any more, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to turn all this over to our glorious golden voice, who is going to be doing any audio description, the wonderful Anne-Marie Morelli. Take it away, Anne-Marie.
Thank you, Nick. Hello, everyone. I am Anne-Marie Morelli, and I will be providing any necessary audio description in tonight's play. First, I would like to remind you that during our virtual Playmakers Intensive, our stage is your computer screen. That said, currently the stage is dark. When the play begins, each character will appear in their own separate box on your screen. Tonight's play is Strength in Numbers. It was written by CATE ALLEN and directed by Maria Mileaf, and it features John Paul Niang as Simon Lyngarten, a teen in boarding school, Alyssa H. Chase as Lily Lyngarten, Simon's mom, a well-off woman lounging at her beach home, Fred Backus as Edward Lyngarten, Simon's father, a very wealthy drug company executive, and Keith Murfee-Deconcini as Ben, the Lyngartens' family lawyer. And now, Strength in Numbers. At Rise, a Zoom call in progress, we see 4 participants: Simon in his boarding school dorm room, Lily at her beach house, Edward in a masculine home office high atop New York City, and Ben in his legal office with law volumes lined like a fortress behind him.
I just want to say before we start, Simon, I'm very sorry I lost my temper last time we all spoke. It's just that when your son tells you he wants to change his name...
Going to change my name.
It's a shock. Just a shock. That's all. I think you can appreciate that your mother and I were somewhat blindsided. Even so, my reaction was reactive. I didn't handle it well. I realize that. So I apologize to both of you.
It's fine.
Apology accepted.
Right now, today, maybe we can just have a family chat about it.
Then why is your lawyer here?
Ben waves.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Ben.
He's our family lawyer, and you're the one making this legal, Simon, not your mom and me.
Just pretend I'm not here.
I just need a signature because I'm under 18. It's a simple form.
Sorry, before we go any further, I would like to record this conversation in the event of differing recollections. Do I have everyone's consent?
Whatever.
Yep.
Fine.
Thank you very much. Okay. We're recording and I'm not here.
Ben leans back in his chair.
Simon, look, your mom and I talked at length after our call, and she's explained to me why you want to do this. And I get it, I really do. With all the negative publicity, the hyperbole around this family right now, it might be a bit much for someone your age to hear all that.
If I may interject a personal note here, Simon, as a parent of high schoolers myself, there's a tendency to think you're the center of attention, that everyone is looking at you when in fact no one really cares. They're just thinking about themselves.
I care. And I thought you were going to be quiet.
Ben raises his hand in a "I'm backing off" gesture.
Everyone at school has been fine. No one has bothered me. This is a moral decision based on what this family is and how I do not wish to be associated with it anymore.
And what is this family, Simon?
I just told you.
Tell me again, please.
We are a family of murderers.
Oh, Simon.
Not murderers, business people.
Who are in the business of killing people.
That is absolutely untrue. We make a product, a legal product that has been made for a very long time, one that has allowed a great number of people a safe escape from pain. It has since evolved that some people abuse the product, but that doesn't make it a bad product or us bad people.
That is a lie.
There is no evidence.
You've always known.
It just isn't true.
You didn't even know what I was going to say.
That's where you're wrong.
Please, Edward, just listen to him.
You've always known how addictive it is. Yet you keep marketing it, pushing it, bribing doctors to write more prescriptions.
Whoa, hang on, Simon. That is completely...
There's tons of proof.
From who? Journalists? Oh, okay, great.
Ben, please.
Sorry.
Simon, we've spared no expense to combat the potential for harm through misuse. We've created numerous education programs throughout the country, increased training for our salespeople and physicians.
Yet you keep selling more and people keep dying.
So I guess there's no such thing as personal responsibility.
Jesus, Dad.
I really think it's advisable to dial it back down and keep this about the people on this call.
What do you want to change it to, darling? Your name.
Wall.
W-A-L-L.
Yep.
Simon Wall. Very neutral. I guess that's the point.
Simon, I think your father is concerned. Doing this might raise some conflicts among your siblings and cousins when it comes to important things like board positions, voting shares, and the like.
Oh, yes, it definitely will. Once you're out, once you've turned your back publicly, you make it very easy to keep you out for good.
I don't want your business, and I don't want your money. That is what I am trying to tell you. I want out of this family.
All right. I think I've got it. Ben, how difficult would this be to do?
Not very, as he pointed out. Since he's under 18, the parents just have to file a request with the court.
You have a form for that, Ben.
Yes.
Why don't you send it to me? I'll sign it right now, since you seem aware of all the consequences. I'm honoring your request, Simon.
Sent.
You may be Simon Wall, or whoever you like.
Thank you.
Can't say I'm surprised about this, honestly. You were always our sensitive one. Lils, remember how you would have Gladys or Bianca make spaghetti for him and his stuffed animals, but wouldn't eat until the stuffed animals did?
Oh, yes, of course I do. It was adorable.
Did you get the form, Dad?
Edward checks his mail.
There it is. I'll print it out. Come to think of it, Simon, how do you make spaghetti or boil an egg? Do you know how to get food for yourself? Not through an app. What about laundry? How does one do that? Or clean a bathroom?
I know how to do all those things. It's not that hard.
True, it isn't, but how will you pay for it? Because if you insist on doing this, I will cancel every credit card you have. And all your house accounts, where all you have to do to get something is sign your name. You probably don't even know how many of those you have, Ben.
18 house accounts between school and home.
And who are they with?
Well, restaurants, car services, clothing shops, private taekwondo training, a documentary workshop.
Gone. Every time you sign Simon Lindgarten, that's money. But if there's no Simon Lindgarten name, there is no Simon Lindgarten money. There's only Simon Wall, and he has nothing. Go on, Ben.
Maybe there's some way to compromise.
Shh. Really? Ben?
Then there's therapy, gym membership, improv classes.
Really?
That's from my social anxiety.
See, there's something I don't get. How can you have social anxiety when you get up on stage and make a fool of yourself?
I explained it to you, Edward.
I guess I just don't understand the connection. Like you don't understand the connection between the generations of your family who worked pretty fucking hard to get to a place where you can do whatever you want and everyone will say, "That's great, Simon. Get up on stage, pretend to be a pumpkin. I don't really care if it makes you happy."
Edward, do you have to be so harsh?
The world is harsh, and you don't get out of that by changing your name, not even a little. You make it worse. I will make it worse. Trust me.
You don't scare me.
Good. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to make you have courage, to take the harder path, to defend your name. Who your family is, to not bend to the social pressures of your punk-ass little friends. That's not courage. What's courageous is standing up, changing what your name means in the bigger conversation. Rebrand Lindgarten. Make Lindgarten mean good. Stand up to them, Simon, as the next generation. The family sticks by you. You stick by your name. Be a Lindgarten. Fully.
Simon, we just want to protect you.
You are both hypocrites.
At least I know my hypocrisies. I don't think you have any idea what yours are and how grotesquely they're showing. Don't cry, Lily. That doesn't help.
If I can just interject here, your parents want what's best for you, Simon. The world is a harder place without people you can trust, who have your back, and your family. You're very lucky. There's strength in numbers.
No, I see your game, okay? It wasn't about protecting me. It was about making me helpless. So isolated and dependent and insecure that I couldn't do anything else other than be a member of this family. You didn't raise me. You colonized me.
So, where do we end up on the whole name changing thing? Money? No money. Money? No money. Why don't you take a little time to think about it, son, before you do anything you might regret? That's irreversible. What do you say, son?
Fine, Dad. I'll think about it.
Good. That's the right choice. But now that I'm aware of how you're thinking, I had Ben draw up something that invalidates your trust if you change your name after you turn 18 or malign this family in any way. That documentary class concerns me. Do you have a form for that, Ben?
Yes.
Why don't you send it to Simon?
Sent.
Honey, Simon, we love you. And we're so proud of you.
Yes, that goes without saying.
Then goodbye.
Oh, Simon, don't.
Simon leaves the call.
And we're no longer recording.
Edward, do you think he'll come around?
Oh, yeah. I know I did. Hey, I'm really busy here. I'll see you out there this weekend.
Sure, but
Edward has already left the call.
You're not a hypocrite, Lily. You're just being a good mom.
I guess.
See you tonight?
Yeah, sure.
Ben smiles. Ends the call. End of play.
Well, there we go. Oh my goodness. Wow. Thank you guys so much. So wonderful to have you guys here. Actually, I want to ask everyone else, Maria, could you come out? Kate, please come out. I just, again, such great work, you guys. Every one of you, such really amazing work. Oh my God. What a brutal play. You guys, how awful. All right, listen, it's about 10 minutes to 8, so we have a little bit of time, but I'm going to start the talk back with you guys, and we'll ask a few questions, and then I will let you go so you can rest up for the next show, which will start at 8:30. How's that? I'm curious for all of you. I mean, normally I like to sort of talk about like what was the process, how did this thing start, and all that. But when you guys first read this play, and I'm going to start with you, John Paul, because you have to be the you're the one that's on the hot seat here. What did you think of this play when you first read it? What were your first impressions?
Well, definitely, I can relate to a lot of what Simon is thinking.
Mhm.
Um, like he doesn't like what his family is doing, so he wants to get out of it as much as possible. And I can completely relate to that. Like if my family was notorious for like doing like bad things, then I would want to get out of there as fast as possible.
Mhm. Without question. I mean, I find it interesting because obviously they are obviously they own or they run a big pharmaceutical company, and obviously they are manufacturing a drug that people become very addicted to and kills people. And you're in high school, right? I mean, you're away like boarding school in high school, right?
Yeah.
I guess my question to you is, do you think that Simon, do you think he makes it? Do you think he's going to, when he says he thinks about it, do you think he's going to go back and say, you know what? Nope, I'm done. Or do you think he's going to cave and say, you know what? I have a really lucky, fortunate life here, and I'm gonna. What? I mean, that's a question that really it remains to be seen. But I'm thinking about your perspective based on you. What do you think?
Well, I think that from like especially from like my monologue at the end where he
Mhm.
says that he's been colonized, I feel like that he would eventually
Mhm.
get out of the family, just not immediately, but he will eventually get out of the family.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I find it interesting because it is sort of in a way a coming of age for you because you are now, if you weren't aware of what your family did, now that you're away at school, you certainly are aware of it now. Um, do you think that, that you had, like prior to you going to school, that you might have that you were having a happy life with your family?
Yeah, when I guess when Simon was living with his family, he was pretty happy, but and then I think that as he got older, he got
Mhm.
more self-aware of what his family really was doing, and
Mhm.
then just eventually decided, nope, I've had enough.
Yep. I find it really fascinating. And I love the work you're doing, John Paul, because I've had this pleasure of watching you work in several shows now. I've had the pleasure of directing you twice in some of our other past intensives. And and you've really displayed, and forgive me, I don't want to say because you are a young man, but you display such great range for someone your age. I mean, I've seen you play a lot of very different roles, and I thought you did a wonderful job with this. And I love your shirt. That's a Cookie Monster shirt. I can tell by the eyes. That's a Cookie Monster shirt. So cool. I loved it. Um, how about, all right, Alyssa, how about you? I'm going to ask you next because
Uh-oh.
I'm sort of starting here with I don't want to say the victims of the play, but certainly the tell me about this character that you're playing. First of all, where are you in relation to Edward? Are you guys, I mean, you're clearly not in the same place and you're not very happy.
Yeah, at the house in Montauk. Uh-huh. Yeah. See? Anyway.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. I think that for Lily, Lily has made a deal. Lily's made a deal. She made a deal a long time ago, and there are certain boundaries to the deal that
Mhm.
provide her protection and privilege and and experiences that many people can only dream about, um, and that is for her kind of a marker of success and acceptance almost. And I think I want that for my son, that he's born into this, and it's the responsibility of the family. It's the responsibility of the privilege of great wealth and influence and societal prowess, I guess. And so the idea that he would leave that is very disturbing to Lily. It's very disturbing to me. It's more so than just oh, he's growing up, he's getting older. Like the idea of you have this special thing that if you just make your deal with it and form a relationship with it instead of rejecting it, so much can be available to you. So I do think that she believes that. I think that Lily believes that, and that it does really come from a place of heartfelt intention for him and love.
I think that's great. I mean, I think you realize also, I'm curious, and again, not that I want to read into this, but I'm sure that there had to be a time in this relationship where you might have even felt the same as your son, but you ultimately realized, maybe you didn't, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that stepping away from this, giving up what you have, what you married into or whatever, would not be the right move. I don't know. I'm just curious. I feel that there has to, I find that without saying anything, there is some sort of unspoken connection between you and your son here. And it's not so much about don't be stupid, don't make the mistake, but almost like, resistance is futile or something. I don't know. But I love it. There's a sadness. I think it's obviously a sadness to me in all of that. It's really, really wonderful and powerful to see that. And Fred, you again, you have such great range. I've had the pleasure of seeing you play so many characters, and in this one you get to play the heavy, you get to play the real bad guy. Tell me how this feels to play this character. Like what did you discover in this process to create Edward? What were your inspirations, I guess?
Well, it was a neat challenge because, I mean, he definitely goes into this call with a game plan and with a strategy, so that it was an interesting balance to maintain that control, but find the moments where his reactions and his emotions, burst out, and I thought that was a great, wonderful challenge. I mean, it's such a full part for such a small play. It really was absolutely wonderful. And yeah, I mean, just to piggyback on the discussion that you've had with the other guys, it's, I think his life philosophy is, civilization is built on the bones of others, and if you're not standing on their bones, they're going to be standing on yours, right? So, I mean, that's life is harsh. That's his motto, I think. So I think that influences all his decisions, and I don't think, compassion, I think, is a luxury that comes second to him.
Yeah, I agree. I found this wonderful combination here of your character being this very cold businessman who always goes into any meeting with a plan, with a strategy to control. And the fact that you went into this meeting with your son, with that strategy, says something very strongly about who you are. I think you're definitely offended by the fact that he does not want to take your name or keep your name going, and you do lose it you do get emotional about that, but you do keep it in check. And it's that idea of, when you mention the word, the power word, the 5-letter word beginning with M, that's what pretty much does it. Yeah, it's such a fascinating, and it does make you think about sort of the power class in our country, whatever the top, what is it, 1% or something like that, and that's how they move forward. Where family becomes family as a business as well as family. It's so strange. And so now I have to ask our attorney in the room, Keith, tell me what this role was like for you. Such a departure from the last intensive.
Yeah.
Both of you guys, I swear, the thing that was really cool was in the last intensive, for those of you who watched, both Fred and Keith got to do Kate's other play, which was very different from this one. I mean, both really powerful, but one very, very funny. This one very serious, and yeah, it just kind of hits you. It's got that, it disturbs a little bit, but in a good way. What did you think of this?
So this, well, I had to really warm up to and not see Ben as a one-dimensional sleaze bag, because you find out at the end he's also having an affair with his client's wife, and I happen to be married again, so I'm cheating on my wife in the play. But every rehearsal, I got to know this character a lot better. I got to empathize with him. Yes, he's probably paid really well by the Lingardens. But if you don't see him in his professional persona, he's probably scraping by in other areas of his life, emotionally, financially, what have you. And I think that's very real life. I love that I get to say the title of the play in my last speech, really trying to hold this family together and acting with such a great group of actors. They really helped me iron out the kinks. And so I went into this process really not liking Ben, and came out of the 2-week rehearsals. We didn't rehearse every day, but I came out of the process where I would really like to hang out with Ben. And Kate will tell you that's not what I said at the beginning of the show. So it grew on me, and it makes sense that he's just scraping by like they're all doing it in their own different ways. And I think that's, again, real life. And echoing what you said at the top, Kate is a master at writing really deep plays that pull no punches, whether they're comedies or dramas. And so we all feel really blessed with a writer like Kate Allen.
Oh, thank you, Keith. So sweet. It's very, very, very mutual.
Yeah. I thank you. I agree. I mean, I find such complexity in all of your characters, and to be able to accomplish that in a very short span of time, I find really remarkable. I find the fact that you, Ben, as the attorney who actually works for Edward, so you're very much aware of the power that he holds, and yet at the same time you're having an affair with his wife. there's this real balancing act going on there, and I find all four characters very, very fascinating in who you are and how you make this play really just sort of jump. It just really stands out, and that's just superior work. So thank you guys for all of it. So listen, I'm going to let you guys disappear right now, and you've got some time between your shows, so I hope you'll relax, and we'll be ready to start again at 8:30.
Thank you, Nick.
I'm going to spend some time talking to Kate and Maria now. You guys, thank you so much for the incredible work that you're doing. Kate, I need to ask you up front, because this is the second show you've written for us. And I know from my experience that the short play form is not the easiest thing to work on. A lot of people have a lot of trouble with it. I've gotten into discussions with many playwrights who have said, to get rid of the short form, it's dead. You can't really create fully developed characters in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I disagree. And yet at the same time, no matter how much of a struggle it is, when I see work such as the work that you wrote for this evening, I see that that's not true. I mean, you've created very wonderful characters, like really rich characters. There's a lot there. Tell me what it was like for you to write this play. How did you come about writing this story?
Well, it was, as my husband and daughter will tell you, it was painful. It's probably painful for them. I really struggled with it because I wanted to do something different from the last intensive, and I had two of the same actors, so I thought that was a real fun challenge, and I love them both, and I love Keith and I love Fred, but it's like I really wanted to mix it up and kind of turn it around on itself. And, then getting John Paul in the cast, and I just love this age. I love people of his age range and, up to their early 20s, because they're just really, they feel a lot more, they're a lot more compassionate, they're a lot more devoted to what they believe in, and a lot more vocal about it. So it just, here you have, one young man, and then you have three people who are old enough to be his parents. So, just the generational, the inherent generational conflict, and then to put it in the context of, when did this kid find out who his family really was, and how is this dawning, and what is he doing about it? And so that's how I really went into it. And the reason why I struggled is because I really do like to give everybody a chance to have you to understand their point of view, even if you don't like the character, if you don't, if you think they're lying or whatever, but at least just to get a real sense of who they are as a human. And I really struggled with Fred's character, Edward, because I tried to make him more human. And then I realized he can't be, he's irredeemable. I just have to let him be the monster that he is, with very good manners. And then once I made that decision, I kind of, everything else fell into place. But yeah, it was a challenge at first. But the actors are just incredible. And Maria's direction, I mean, she got the script right away. She just understood it. She went deeper. It was really such a great experience with her at the helm.
I thought it was wonderful. And I especially am so thrilled because I love the way this play plays against the show that we did last night, which was Jared Bogart's Parent Teacher. I don't know if you had a chance to see it.
Yeah, I did.
But what I loved about Parent Teacher was it also explores the generational thing in a much more funny and comedic way, where it is the kid who wins in the end. And yet you see the opposite of that here tonight. So I love to be able to show both sides of the coin in this. I find, you know, the discussion of generations, you know, Gen Z versus Gen X, or, you know, whatever, boomers, baby boomers, whatever. I find it fascinating, because the world has changed so much in such a small period of time, really, when you think about it. And I mean, we can sort of look back and say, well, let's see, if my parents were born in the 30s, the world changed a lot between the 30s and the 60s. Yes, it did, but it feels like with technology, that happens so quickly, and it is evolving so fast that it feels like the generations are spinning through it even faster. So I love the work. I thought it was just really wonderful and really rich.
Thank you.
So yeah, now Maria, oh my goodness, thank you for being a part of this work with us. I'm so thrilled that you were able to take part and you agreed to work with us. This is a rather it's a fun thing that we do. It's a fun project, but it definitely has a lot of challenges to it. And I would love to sort of get your impression as a first-time director in this whole experience of what it was like in terms of not only coordinating, you know, an original play written for Zoom on Zoom with the actors, with an audio describer, adding in all of the additional, you know, bells and whistles that we are attempting to explore.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for having me. It was like a luxury to be able to, you know, work right now. So that was kind of great. And, you know, Kate, besides if I'm ever on a game show, I definitely want Kate to be like the leader of my team, because, you know, that thing about like, here's 7 ingredients, like go, and then, you know, the bell goes off and she delivers this amazing play. That was sort of stunning. And, you know, I mean, Kate gave us a real gift because the play was written for Zoom. And so for me, the challenges were not the, you know, dramaturgical narrative challenges or working with this wonderful cast on their characters, but it was like how to make something for, it's not even a small screen, it's like the, you know, quadricepted screen, you know, for, to make it, you know, compelling and interesting for people to look at. So it was, I mean, everybody was really game to try everything. So it was pretty fun. I mean, it was like just a really good team. So that made it felt kind of easy. I don't know. It felt easy, right, Kate? We were just,
I
kept
had a
working and
blast.
working.
Yeah. I mean, you had the hardest part. Honestly, you had the hardest part because you were juggling. But yeah, it was easy. It was easy for me. I got to watch all you great folks work, and
they've all done it before, including, you know, Anne-Marie came on the end to do the audio description. Everybody on the team I was the only person who didn't know what I was doing. And like, luckily, Fred has directed one of the other pieces in this intensive. And so I kind of leaned on him a little. I was like, what goes on with this? And he's like, oh, it happened. You know, it was kind of easy. Yeah. And I threw all the cues to you, Nick. I didn't do anything. You guys did it all. And then that's the great fraud of being a director. It's like, everybody else does it, and you're like, yes, you're welcome.
Well, half of the directing is the casting and all of that, but yet at the same time, I mean, it really is you're the one that has to sort of pull it all together and really take charge, which you absolutely, as you know, that's what you do. You're masterful at it, and I love the fact that the work is created for Zoom, because that was always part of the issue with me. I mean, I not to criticize other companies that are trying to present a play that was written for the stage on a screen, but I feel that to me, in a lot of cases, is a bridge too far, because when you go into a theater, a writer has written a play to be performed on a stage with actors in a space, and an audience can suspend their disbelief and watch what's on the stage and expect them to get lost in the costumes and the words and the play, the life of the play. But when you then say, oh yeah, well, now we're going to present that same play on Zoom, and these 2 actors who are having a love scene are in 2 separate boxes and they're not in the same room, but we're going to do our best to try to sell that to you. It sort of adds that it's like, okay, now we have to try to do that. So you have to come up with tricks and devices to try to sell that. Let's just take the guesswork out of it, you know?
Yeah. But another thing I want to say though about this particular team of people and maybe working with this theater is that everybody really did kind of come together to solve the challenges. So like the company came up with their Zoom backgrounds and you know, when you, like their costumes, so even though it was a short intensive, there was a kind of freedom to being able to ask people to help, like maybe the game show nature of it, or it sounds a little bit like a cooking show, like here are the ingredients, you know, what can you find in your bedroom, go. Like that was sort of, I mean, I think that's a gift maybe to take to other processes, because that kind of, you know, agency to the entire company was really fruitful in this case. And like that would be the same thing with you, Kate, right? Like here are the ingredients, here are the 4 people, you were the one who had the idea to write something for the format, right? That was
yeah, I mean, TBTB just says, you know, gives you all the leeway, you know, there's no restriction on length or subject matter. It's just your people find out what they need to say. And that was just very, very freeing. And yeah, you know, as Nick was just saying, I would find that too much heavy lifting to try to pretend that this wasn't on Zoom. And I think, you know, it's better to focus on the relationships and the characters rather than being like, everyone knows what a Zoom call is, you know, so already they're there and you don't have to figure out where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to think about what you're seeing on the screen. So yeah, it just made it so much easier to get into the characters once I kind of placed them in my mind about where they were and who they were to each other. Then I could concentrate on making that all as real as possible.
It's interesting though, because on stage, of course, phone calls are terrible.
Yeah.
You know, because you're always like, okay, don't look at the timing's really hard to get. And like, if you're one person, you can't hear the other side, it's really awkward. And then if you see both people and they're in the same space, but they're pretending they can't see each other, so it's kind of a great use of the format, you know, to just embrace it.
Yeah.
And you're going to see that change now. Like I can see having a screen on stage and having someone call, and you see the Zoom call happening with a person on stage and a person on screen. I don't see any reason why that couldn't happen. I just think it's the way our world is now. You know, all kinds of life has been happening on Zoom for the last year. That's been proven. So to create a story using this, I find fascinating. And with all due respect to again, I think that there are some really wonderful programs that, like, for example, OBS is a wonderful format where you can have a tech person who controls the placement of the actors on the screen, and they can do fades and they can do all kinds of special effects. And, you know, and I think that's wonderful. But I also feel that also makes the play more cinematic and less theatrical. Doing it this way, to me, is a hybrid. It's like a mix of both formats. It's not quite film, it's not quite stage, but it's somewhere in between.
I think if we got to keep, you know, working as a team or whatever, like you know, for example, you know, nobody murders anybody on stage, and yet, you know, there's murders in all sorts of plays, right? And so that's your challenge. You're like, well, how do you, like, the Wicked Witch never melts, you know, when they throw the water on her, and yet she does every time you see that play. So I think given time to think about it, like, how do 2 people have a sex scene on Zoom? Like, you have to figure out how to do it. Like, if it kept going, you would, you know, you'd figure it out. The rules would be made, a contract would be made with a Zoom audience to make that somehow psychologically and emotionally and visually palatable and compelling.
But a thing that I find very liberating is the fact that we, as the artists, have that ability to, we create the art, we make the rules we want to make, you know. I mean, we can set whatever parameters. I mean, obviously when you're creating a play, you have to lay in the limitations so that you can set the story, right? That's the job of the ensemble. But I feel that it's always best to open with the broadest lens possible. Like I want to, if I'm going to create a painting, I want to feel free to use every color in the spectrum, and then I can narrow it down however I feel I want to. And, you know, the idea of incorporating things like audio description and making work accessible. I love the thought idea, or the thought process of baking that into the work itself, because that kind of work at this point they're just tools that are used. You know, no one really asks for audio description unless you are in need of it, unless you are blind, low vision. You get a little headset or an infrared thing or whatever, and that helps. Or if you're deaf, hard of hearing, you might have a performance where you have live ASL interpreters or a screen with the crawl above it. Well, why not make that part of the work? I mean, it's just like we always say, building an infrastructure. Why don't we make, you know, why can't we make our infrastructure accessible? There's no reason why it's just always trying to think bigger, I guess. But I'm just so grateful to you guys for really entering into this with the right spirit. I mean, this work is purely collaborative and it is ensemble driven. And if one person tries to take charge of it, it somehow doesn't work. It like falls apart in your hands. There has to be this real bonding with the group, and you obviously had that. I mean, the work it just worked beautifully, I thought.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys. Well, listen, it's 8:23. I'm going to give you guys a break now. I'm going to sign off for now, and we'll resume this conversation after the next show.
See you later.
Yeah, thank you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for being a part of our work tonight. You know, again, we are so grateful that we could come to you and present this work, which is just really, it's development work. This is sort of, what I love about this work is it really gives our audiences a little peek into how a company such as ours creates and develops work from the beginning. So the work that you are seeing did not exist a few weeks ago. So there are many ways to do it. In this intensive, you happen to see 14 different ways as to how that came about. But we're just so happy to share that with you. Again, we hope that you'll continue watching us and supporting us. And this is the end. We're on Friday night. We have tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday will be our last show for this intensive, but we will do more in the future. So I will ask you for the rest of the week, and I hope you'll continue to watch. I hope you'll tell your family and your friends. Friend us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can see the past work that we've done over the last few weeks if you've missed anything. I hope you didn't, but if you did, I hope you'll get a chance to catch up. Go to our website, tvtv.org. You can find out everything about our company, our history, where we were, where we're going, everything, past, present, and future. You can also see a lot of our other past work, as well as our wonderful archives, which shows the photos and things from past productions. If you really love us and really like what you see, just click the donate button at the top of the homepage. I encourage that, not because I want your money, but because I want your partnership. Whenever you donate, as far as we're concerned, that means that you are vested. You're making an investment in our company, and we take that very seriously. So we hope that you will consider doing that, and we hope that you will partner with us. Okay, so we have another show at 8:30, folks. I hope you'll tune in on Facebook, and you will see this, and it will happen live. You will not hear me saying, well, you'll probably hear me say some of the things that I said already, but it'll be a completely different show. Now, tomorrow night, we have, I'm sorry to say, another great play written by the amazing Jeff Tabnick. I've sung Jeff Tabnick's praises through and through, from the first intensive to the last. He's just a very dear friend and incredible artist. And he wrote a really poignant piece, which I hope you'll enjoy. It is called Blanket Time, a Love Story. It was directed by the amazing Adreem Smith. You've had the pleasure of seeing Adreem act. You've heard her do voiceover. Now you will get to see her directing chops, and I assure you they're incredible. And we have, oh my goodness, an all-star cast. Surprise. Farida Ahmed. She wrote. Now she's going to act. So, you know, she's just amazing. Melissa, Jennifer Gonzalez, Lori Brown Niang, who actually happens to be the mom of John Paul Niang, who you saw tonight. Heba Tulan. Yeah, we just have a really great cast. So I hope you'll tune in. 7:30 here on YouTube, 8:30 on the Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time, your attention. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night right here. Bye-bye, everyone.